Woman killed, cop injured during high-speed chase in Westmoreland. Westmoreland, Jamaica, an elderly woman is dead and a policeman injured after a service vehicle reportedly on a high-speed chase lost control and overturned at Belle Isle Road in Grange Hill, Westmoreland on Saturday afternoon. The identity of the deceased is not yet known. IRI News Media TV understands that the police were chasing a motorcyclist when the vehicle lost control and hit the woman who was walking along the road. The now deceased was rushed to the hospital where she was pronounced dead and a policeman hospitalized. Investigations are ongoing. Mechanic killed while working on a vehicle in Clarendon. Clarendon, Jamaica. A mechanic was shot dead while working on Foga Road in Four Paths, Clarendon on Saturday morning. He has been identified as 45-year-old Marlon Brown, who operates a garage on Foga Road. Reports reaching IRI News Media TV indicate that around 8:20 a.m. Brown was at his shop working on a vehicle when two men walked up to him and asked to borrow a peace tool. The police said shortly after, one of the men brandished a gun and opened fire at Brown, hitting him in the left side of his head. Officers say they arrived at the scene to discover Brown's lifeless body lying on the ground on its back with what appeared to be a gunshot wound to the left side of its head. He was taken to the May Pen Hospital, where he was pronounced dead, and the body removed to the morgue. No motive has been established for the killing. 3 men charged with murder of businessmen in Kingston. Kingston, Jamaica. Detectives assigned to the Kingston Central Police have charged 3 men for the shooting death of a 54-year-old man while at his shop on Gold Street in Kingston on Wednesday, August 2nd. The deceased has been identified as Ronald Brown. Charged are 20-year-old Quan Dawson, otherwise called Crocs of Maiden Lane, 20-year-old Delano Anglin, otherwise called Huddy, a fisherman of Maiden Lane, and 23-year-old Antonio Jackson, otherwise called 40, of Berry Street, all in Kingston. Reports are that about 4:15 a.m. Brown was at his shop when he was reportedly pounced upon by all 3 men who opened gunfire, hitting him. He was taken to hospital where he was confirmed dead. Dawson, Anglin and Jackson were taken into custody during a police operation. On Friday, September 1st, all 3 men were charged following a question-and-answer session in the presence of their attorneys. Their court date is being finalized. Detectives assigned to the Halfway Tree Police are seeking the public's assistance to locate the relatives of a man who was found dead at his home along Norwich Avenue in St. Andrew. The body has been identified as 53-year-old Stanford Campbell. It is of a dark complexion, slim build, and about 5 feet 8 inches long. It has a low-cut hairstyle and was clad in a gray shorts and a gray and white shirt. Reports from the Halfway Tree Police are that a neighbor summoned cops to the home of Campbell. On the arrival of the lawman, he was seen motionless. The scene was processed and the body was removed to the morgue. Relatives or anyone who may be able to locate the relatives of Stanford Campbell is being asked to contact the Halfway Tree Police at 876-926-8184, Police 119 emergency number, or the nearest police station. Same story after boy's death. Montego Bay, St. James. Last September looked very different for Georgia Adams. The resident of Catadupa in this western Jamaica parish was excited as she prepared to have her then 6-year-old son Giovanni Kidd enter the 1st grade at nearby Catadupa Primary School. Giovanni had recently graduated from Belfont Basic School and was already dubbed the sweetheart of his family. However, tragedy struck on September 8th, Giovanni's 4th day of school, when he was washed away by a flood on his commute home. His body was found hours later by residents of the community who came out to support the family in their search for the much-loved Giovanni. It is believed that Giovanni encountered difficulty while attempting to walk by an open ditch in the flood-prone community. The intense weather conditions, coupled with the lack of proper infrastructure, were said to have been too much for the boy. For Adams, it has been an extremely difficult year navigating the loss of her only son while still trying to support her other children. She told the Jamaica Observer that a promise made by Member of Parliament, MP, for St. James Southern, Homer Davis, to install a barrier at the ditch had brought a level of comfort to the family. This has, however, not been accomplished when Adams spoke to her 5 days shy of the 1st anniversary of the boy's death. I still feel so bad about it and sometimes I have to just cry, but nothing has been done as yet. They said that they are going to build a railing there, but it still hasn't been done, Adams told the Sunday Observer. The rains have been on and off. Because in the first half of the year, we had a lot of rains, but we know that next month is rainy time, she added. At the same time, Adams noted that Giovanni's death has been extremely hard on his older sisters. The boy, who would have been entering grade 2 on Monday, had reportedly shared very close relationships with his 2 sisters. It was one of his sisters who had got him ready for school on the day that he died. The family also vividly remembers how much Giovanni had cried to stay home that day. They are feeling sad just the same. I am not really around them because I work every day, so they might only see me if I am on an evening shift. My younger daughter has been the same way since Giovanni died. She is always in bed. She goes to bed very early. She lies down and covers up her head, but sometimes she is not even sleeping, Adams told the Sunday Observer. Adams explained that she, too, has found ways to cope with the loss of her son. I mostly now focus on work, so sometimes I am not here at home. I use work as a way to just keep going, Adams said. When the Sunday Observer contacted MP Davis, he stated that the matter was initially reported to the St. James Municipal Corporation and work should be done to construct the railing by the local authority. However, a well-placed source at the municipal corporation has shared that the organization was unaware of the matter. In the meantime, Clifford Bernard, the Jamaica Labour Party (JLP) councillor candidate in the Catadupa division, told the Sunday Observer that he is aware of plans to restructure this area. The councillor candidate, while expressing major concern for the safety of residents walking along that area, called for an escalation of th/OSSE plans, citing the danger looming during this year's rainy season. The minister made some pledges and we are hoping that things can materialize within a certain time span because we don't want to repeat, said Bernard. It is very dangerous for kids and even senior people because if they slip and slide, that will be another casualty and that is what we want to prevent and hope not to happen again. We need a restructuring of the whole thing. We need an overhead bridge so they can walk over that section whenever rain falls, as opposed to walking on the road that becomes the riverway, the councillor candidate stated. Bernard pointed out that the gutter carries flood water from hilly sections of the Catadupa community and surrounding areas. In its current state, both sides of the road lead to the stream which facilitates that runoff. However, there is no infrastructure in place to ensure the safety of the road users. A Catadupa resident, who only gave her name as Pamela, further told the Sunday Observer that parents have become fearful of the ditch once it rains heavily. Her fear, she said, has now heightened, as her 6-year-old daughter gears up too. We are very worried once it starts to rain because that area is just not safe. I am sending out my daughter to school on Monday and I plan to ensure that I always have someone to walk with her because I'm just so afraid, she said. Pamela added, "We still think about what happened to that young boy because he was just a baby and we hope that nothing like this will ever take place in our community. We have to protect our children, so I am begging that something be done about this gutter." For Sonia Hilton, the safety of her 10-year-old son is also a concern. Hilton explained that he, too, attends Catadupa Primary and has to walk in this area to head home after school. If it rains slightly then he can pass easily, but once we get some heavy showers, sometimes he has to just find somewhere to stay while waiting for the water to draw dung. The road needs to be fixed and they need to put in a better gutter to take the water away from the road, Hilton bemoaned.